This is a block of blue cheese, and that is the all-new Honda Accord. And what do these two things have in common? Well, I'm betting if you're under a certain age, neither of these things have any appeal. Once you've matured, become more worldly though, maybe your taste in edible dairy and exciting cars will change. We know what blue cheese can bring to the table, but what does the 2024 Honda Accord have to offer? Let's tuck in and find out. Ugh. The 11th generation Honda Accord range is, well, it isn't a range at all, because this new model is available in a single eHEV RS grade. Priced at $64,900 drive away nationwide under Honda's agency sales model, the Honda Accord isn't exactly a bargain. In fact, it's pricier than the Toyota Camry, Hyundai Sonata, and Mazda 6 rivals, and even priced above the mid-sized CR-V SUV. At least Honda have tried to justify that hefty price tag with an attractive equipment list. There's the usual keyless entry, push button start, dual zone climate control, 18-inch wheels, LED exterior lighting, leather interior, an all digital instrument cluster, a head-up display, digital radio, electronically adjustable front seats with memory, and a panoramic sunroof that you would expect of a car in this price range. But there's one big omission. Namely, where the heck are the heated seats? It's a feature that's available to cars even half the price of this Accord, so this omission in a flagship sedan like this is a bit of a head scratcher, isn't it, Honda? Is 65 grand a lot to spend on a Japanese sedan? Yes, it is. And Honda hasn't exactly stacked the equipment list to make you feel not shortchanged. However, the ace up Honda's sleeve here is in ownership costs, because the first 5 services for this Honda Accord will cost you just $199 each, making it cheaper to maintain than even a Toyota Camry. You can definitely spend less and get more, but the Accord offers up a supremely comfortable driving experience, more on that soon, thanks in large part to this petrol-electric hybrid engine. Pop the bonnet, and like most modern cars, it's all just plastic, but buried underneath there is a 2-litre petrol engine that pairs with not one, but 2 electric motors. With a combined output of 152 kilowatts and 335 newton meters, the Accord isn't going to make for a great getaway car, but there's enough oomph there not to feel underpowered. Paired to the Accord is what Honda calls an eCVT, which sends power to the front wheels. There are also paddles behind the steering wheel, which don't actually change any gears, but adjust the levels of regenerative braking. And before you ask, yes, there is more gusto out of a Camry hybrid. But then again, Toyota's hybrid technology is starting to feel a little bit dated, especially when stacked up next to the much smoother and much quieter Honda system. Officially, the Honda Accord will sip just 4.3 litres of 91 grade petrol for every 100 kilometres it travels. And in my week with this car, I came remarkably close. Handing the keys back, the trip computer was showing 4.6 litres per 100 kilometres after a healthy mix of inner city and freeway driving. However, I suspect what skewed my consumption figure slightly higher was testing the different levels of regenerative braking and the various drive modes. Owners who are diligent and keep the Accord in Econ mode with maximum regen braking will likely achieve a much better fuel use figure. And where the Accord might not justify its outright high price tag with equipment, at least it looks high-end and premium. I love Honda's new design direction. Everything from the Civic to the CR-V looks confident, mature, and timeless. And this Accord is no exception. Up front, the large grille is emblazoned with a Honda logo, flanked by 2 sleek and slender headlights. But I especially love the lower chin treatment, which emphasizes the Accord's width and adds a little bit of sportiness and athleticism. In profile, the Accord sedan silhouette is obvious, and the 18-inch wheels do well to fill the arches. There's also a touch of coupe to it with a sloping roofline and narrowing rear window. And I also really appreciate the touches of gloss black on the side skirts, the side mirrors, and the window surrounds that juxtapose well against this white exterior paint. The rear end is dominated by a full-length taillight array, but there are some sporty touches thanks to a boot lip spoiler and a massive rear diffuser. Is the Accord styling going to convert the sedan haters? No way. But everything about the exterior aesthetics feels sharp, considered, and matured in the same way a crisp white shirt can elevate any outfit. One thing that I love about sedans, and the Accord does this too, is a boot that springs open. No, it's not motorized because you can't close it from the key, but it's quite a generous cavity. The boot cavity is large enough to accommodate a sizable 570 litres and is deep and spacious enough for a full-size pram, golf clubs and even large suitcases. Keep in mind though, there isn't much height in the boot, so taller, bulkier items will struggle to fit. Fold the one-piece rear seats down and that storage space swells, but Honda has not revealed to what extent. And again, keep in mind that height will be the biggest barrier to hauling bigger items. Keeping those rear seats in place will allow for 3 passengers in the second row, and honestly, it's pretty spacious back here. I have plenty of leg room behind my driving position, and there's enough shoulder room where you could conceivably have 3 adults back here, depending on how much they value their personal space. The big letdown back here though is that the roof is just a touch too low. If I sit upright, my head just about kisses the ceiling. Is it a deal breaker though? Maybe if you were thinking about picking up the Accord for ride sharing, but for children, car seats and the occasional use, it's fine. Rear seat amenities include air vents, USB-C charging ports, backseat mat pockets, a bottle holder in the door, and retractable sun blinds. There's also a fold-down center armrest, but the leather is so slippery and there's no grab handle, it can be difficult to pull out. When you do get it down though, you get access to 2 cup holders as well as a generous cushion for your forearm. As with most cars though, the best seats in the house are up front, and this holds true for the Accord as well. Like, look how far the electronically adjustable driver's seat can go back. The steering wheel is also telescoping, so you can get into your perfect driving position. Storage options are also abundant, with a door pocket that will accommodate a large water bottle, 2 generous cup holders, there's a tray up front for wireless smartphone charging and your keys, and an underarm storage cubby. But before we move on to the driving section, can we just take a minute to appreciate how nice this cabin is? The red stitching really pops against the black leather, and all the touch points are soft and supple. The Accord's cabin also feels solid and completely rattle-free, with everything from the satisfying thunk of the doors closing to the resistance of the air vent adjustment knobs having just the right feel to them. And the cherry on top of this Accord cake, for me at least, is the touchscreen infotainment system. Measuring 12.3 inches diagonally, the display feels large and substantial without being overwhelming or obscuring forward visibility. The system is an absolute delight to use thanks to an ultra-responsive touchscreen and Google software baked right in, which means the inbuilt satellite navigation is Google Maps, and it's as fast, fluid, and fuss-free as it is on your phone. There's also Google Assistant, so you can use your voice to set reminders and look up useless trivia facts, as well as Google Play Store, where you can browse and download a selection of curated apps like Spotify or YouTube Music. And of course, if you don't want to use any of that, you still have the option of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which can both connect wirelessly. Aside from the Google stuff, the infotainment menu is just intuitive and easy to understand, and every button press is met with the most satisfying of clicks. Even scrolling to the bottom of a list is met with auditory feedback, enhancing the infotainment experience. You may have also noticed this big knob on the center stack, which doesn't actually control volume. It's what Honda calls the experience selection dial. In practice, what it is, it's a customizable menu that allows quick access to functions that you want to get easy access to, like warming the cabin or changing the driver profile. It's a bit naff if I'm being completely honest, because in my time with the car, I never really needed to use it because the infotainment touchscreen is so intuitive already. But where was I? Oh yeah, driving the car. Like a baby's bottom or top shelf Irish butter, there's only one word to describe the Honda Accord's driving experience, and that is smooth. The hybrid powertrain is simply delightful, offering power and torque in such a linear and effortless fashion that it keeps both drivers and occupants happy. And a key part to the Accord engine's appeal is how seamless it can switch from petrol to electric power. There's just no drop-off as the system switches between one to the other. And there's no obtrusive and loud engine noises, unlike the Accord's other competitors. Camry. And with 152 kilowatts and 335 newton meters on tap, there's plenty of gusto in the Accord to accelerate quickly from the lights, or even overtake at freeway speeds. But Never enough where you're going to land in speeding territory if you take your eyes off the speedo for too long. And keeping all things in check is this wonderful 10.2-inch digital instrument cluster, which is clear, concise, and easily legible at a glance. Car makers these days tend to overstuff their digital displays, trying to cram as much information in there as possible. So kudos to Honda for showing a bit of restraint here. The steering feel also strikes a fine balance, feeling light enough for the Accord to feel lithe and agile, but also heavy enough to offer some feedback and sensation in a corner. Again, the word I would use here is smooth. It's smooth to tip the Accord into a corner, and it's easy and effortless to move the wheel back to center. The suspension is also deliciously soft, soaking up bumps and road imperfections like a well-leavened bread. The smaller than expected 18-inch wheels also have a part to play here, allowing for a thicker sidewall for added cushioning and less road noise. The result is a supremely supple ride, more comfortable than most SUVs, I'd say, and the Accord doesn't have any of the sacrifices those high riders are saddled with. The center of gravity is simply lower to the ground, and there's no bounciness or jiggling about as you would see in an SUV. This Honda is simply a comfortable and confident drive. The drive modes on offer also change things up a bit, but honestly, there's not that much difference between them. The Econ mode is the smoothest of the bunch, dulling throttle response and steering feel and making it effortless to pilot around town. Sport mode dials things up a notch, but don't be fooled into thinking that the Accord is a sports sedan. That setting is only going to sharpen things a touch. And normal mode is the middle ground between both, and the mode I spent most of my time driving in, offering a nice balance of the two. There's also an individual mode where you can dial things up and down according to your taste. But honestly, the Accord doesn't need any of these options. This Honda just happens to be a one-trick pony, but that one trick is expertly balancing comfort and engagement when on the road. Let's face facts, the 2024 Accord is expensive as far as mainstream sedans go, but it really does offer a level of refinement, comfort, and even luxuriousness not seen in its standard rival set. Honda definitely needs to put more equipment at this price though, but the ultra efficient and smooth hybrid engine really does ease the sting a little. If you're thinking about getting an entry-level model from the likes of Lexus or Audi, seriously, give this Honda a spin because it certainly struck a chord with me. If you've liked this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and that bell notification icon to stay on top of all of Drive's latest YouTube content. And if you're on the market for a new or used car, there's also Drive Marketplace, where you can browse thousands of vehicles for sale. For the full written review of this Honda Accord though, be sure to hit up Drive.com.au.